Coming up in the news, leaders in the industrial sector talking growth and expansion. Also, migrants rescued at sea. And social workers applauding the establishment of a social workers association. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for joining us. Leaders in the industry speaking candidly about the changes they're hoping will take place to enhance the industrial sector on Grants Bahama. A panel discussion taking place yesterday under the theme Growing the Industrial Sector, Removing Barriers, Restoring Incentives, Refurbishing Infrastructure during the 23rd Annual Grants Bahama Business Outlook. Here's that story. Industrial groups are the backbone and glue that is holding Grants Bahama's economy together. That statement coming from CEO of Pharmachem Technologies, Randy Thompson, during the 2022 Grants Bahama Business Outlook.
The industrial group ought to be commended for weathering the storms and the pandemic and having minimum interruption and impact to our employees and customers. So in the industrial area, we heavily focus on safety and preparation. And so any disaster that come our way, really and truly, we are primarily prepared. Just like Dave spoke about the protocols, procedures that we all have in place, we execute those based on, again, all of our training and preparation.
Also a part of the panel discussion was CEO of Grants Bahama Shipyard, David Scantlebury, expressing that operating in Grants Bahama does have its challenges, especially due to the impact of natural disasters.
For our biggest part of our business, which is the repairing cruise ships, they need, just for crew and contractors, that they need a good airlift capability. So the airport at the moment is a barrier. As a large industrial, we're always very concerned about the hospital facilities on the island and their adequacy. God forbid, should there be a major incident. And then I think the other one with the infrastructure, which is worrying or concerning me now, and we have to do work, is we are planning on getting new docks. These docks will be amongst the biggest in the world, and they will take the largest cruise ships in the world. But one of the issues is going to be, and we're seeing it already, is going to be fresh water.
Thompson says the industrial group wants to have more consultative opportunities with the government and the Grants Bahama Port Authority before laws and regulations are enacted.
We want them to understand the industrial sector and how the laws would impact our businesses, and would like opportunity to have a seat at the table, at least to listen and to hear and to give advice. And so that could become challenging at times when laws are imposed and they don't necessarily relate to the industrial group.
And Scantlebury says he believes for the industry to survive in Grants Bahama, there needs to be some form of special economic zone in place.
The governments need to start thinking about what happens in the future. Is it going to be renewed? Is there something different that can be put in to ensure that the industries that are here now thrive, and more importantly, more industry comes in and grows on the island. So I think, no, we have not done any specific planning on the end of but I think industry and government start needing to get their heads around it, because, for instance, the development we're looking at, if we bring in 2 new dry docks, they're here for 40 or 50 years. So it's a good question, so we do need some certainty as to what's going to happen in the future.
Now also addressing the GB Business Outlook was President of the Grants Bahama Chamber of Commerce, James Carey. Carey noting that the Chamber is committed to engaging at every level with both the private sector and the government for the advancement of a robust business community in Grants Bahama.
We need to address the ease of doing business and any obstacles that may be an impediment to doing so. My board and I are committed to working with government, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and members of the private sector on issues relative to the growth of our island's economy. We are committed to advancing, through advocacy, the concerns of our members and, by extension, the wider business community. We will work to ensure economic stability, help businesses to grow and become profitable.
He says the chamber will continue to prioritize the needs of small businesses.
We will provide valuable services, including business consultation at our help desk, mentoring for small businesses, networking opportunities through social and business meetings, and participation in business exposures wherever practical.
The University of the Bahamas announcing the appointment of Dr. Ian Strawn to the position of Executive Vice President effective the 1st of April 2022. Dr. Strawn retains his position as President of the UB North Campus in Grants, Bahama. The position of Executive Vice President is vitally important in the university system. It is enshrined in the University of the Bahamas Act as an officer of the institution and serves a critical role in maximizing operational performance and maintaining continuity. In the absence of the president or during a vacancy in the office of the president, the executive vice president is the most senior officer who, with the board's authorization, functions as the president. Leader of UB North is equally as important as the role of the EVP. Dr. Strawn has been leading the university community in Grants, Bahama, working with resilient faculty, staff, and students to create opportunity out of great adversity. In September 2019, Hurricane Dorian severely damaged the university's campus in East Grants, Bahama, displacing the entire community. Less than a month later, operations resumed in temporary accommodations in Freeport. Earlier this month, UB acquired the Kipling complex in Freeport, Grants, Bahama, as the site for the future UB North campus. The campus will become the hub for UB's science, technology, engineering, and math STEM programs and collaborations with partners to spark entrepreneurship and innovation. Meanwhile, the Advisory Committee for National Honors inviting nominations from suitably qualified persons to be conferred with an award under the National Honors Act 2016. The categories are Order of National Hero, Order of Nation, Order of the Bahamas, Order of Excellence, Order of Distinction, Order of Merit, Order of Lignum Vitae, and any other honor constituted by the Governor General by order. In addition to the above regulations made under the National Honors Act 2016, other awards include Distinguished Service Medals for citizens of the Bahamas in recognition of exceptional service in public service or the civil society, or Badge of Honor for persons in the civil society who perform exceptional service to the Bahamas, and medals for bravery. Nomination forms may be obtained from the Cabinet Office in New Providence, the Office of the Administrator in all districts of the Family Islands, and via the Government of the Bahamas website, www.bahamas.gov.bs. Completed nomination forms containing all of the pertinent information of the nominee must be submitted to the Secretary of the National Honor Secretariat, Cabinet Office, no later than the 8th of April 2022 in order to enable the Advisory Committee to consider nominations and make recommendations for awards. Successful candidates will be announced on the 10th of July 2022. In other news, a group of migrants rescued on the high seas after their vessel overturned. The migrants traveled thousands of miles to the Bahamas, apparently with the goal of being smuggled into the United States. As we hear in this report, the migrants were...
After 4:30 p.m., when Basra Rescue received information that there were several persons floating nearly 5 miles off the coast of West End whose boat had overturned. Captain Devon Archer says a vessel en route to Grand Bahama happened to be in the area and was able to rescue the individuals and bring them to shore, but they could not speak English.
So we worked to get a Russian translator on standby for when the sea tow vessel approaches Freeport Harbor. and turns them over. Once we got the translator, we went down to the harbor, Freeport Harbor, and we met the vessel with turned out to be 7 persons on board. It was 2 males, 3 females, and 2 young children. It was good to see that they were in life jackets.
Archer says had it not been for the vessel en route to Grand Bahama, the situation could be a lot worse.
As of this morning, the 18th of March, one of our rescue crew has already departed the West End, and he's out there looking for the sunken boat, as well as he's reported that he found a life raft. I'm not sure if this life raft is connected with yesterday's 7-person rescue. That's something we're digging into. The life raft apparently has not been in the water for too long. There's no buildup on it. So he's bringing the life raft back. All of the medical equipment and everything in the life raft have been untouched. Once we find the vessel, then we can dive it and get a better understanding of exactly what is on board, who all was on board. If there's any documentation, we turn over to the authorities, and we just hope for the best, providing they find that boat.
Now, there were reports that the 7 individuals were Russians attempting to flee to America, but Archer says that information is false.
They did speak Russian, but digging a little deeper, they seem to be Georgians. So when we were told that they were Russians, we got the translator down there, and the translator was able to communicate, because my first question was, is there anybody else that we should be looking for? Is all persons accounted for? She was able to translate that and get a response, no, this is everything.
Archer says that it was a smuggling operation, and the owner of the boat is more than likely a Bahamian.
You try not to think this way, but if it's smuggling, it's more than likely a local captain. It's not. He said he was the captain, he was driving the boat, and he was trying to get him and his family to the U.S. So our question is, once we find this boat, then we can determine where the boat came from, because they apparently, what I was told, they flew into the country, which means they would have gone through the proper channels of clearing customs and immigration. And immigration, I think, is aware of who they are.
Investigations are now ongoing to find out who the vessel belonged to. As for Basra, Archer says they have been extremely busy with rescues for the year.
Persons breaking down and drifting and missing. We've been successful, except for the very few smuggling operations, to which the police force and U.S. Coast Guard, ourselves, and Defense Force have all worked hand in hand in trying to find them.
Rumiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
An additional 7 illegal migrants taken into custody here on Grand Bahama. A combined team of law enforcement officers from the Marine Unit, Southwestern Division, and the Immigration Department, while armed with a search warrant last night, went to a resort in East End where they searched a number of rooms and discovered a Romanian male, 3 Ecuadorian males, 3 Ecuadorian females, and an Ecuadorian child. Further investigations revealed that the group had overstayed their time in the Bahamas. All were arrested and taken into custody of immigration officers. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.